in recent times, a lot of people are leaving behind the Nigerian culture or tradition and embracing the Western culture and tradition. This is not a bad thing. However, it seems one is swallowing up the other. With me today, I have some brilliant minds who are going to discuss this topic, and we just want to look at the importance of us sticking with our tradition and our culture.
Alright, so I have a question. Talking about this whole issue of balancing tradition and modernity, I'm from Akwa Ibom, right? And I know around that region, espresso is quite popular. And it's the whole story of Shikir, killing twins as tradition, and somehow started that process of abolishing it. And so now it's almost like a few years down the line, twins have gone from being seen as a curse to a blessing.
Yeah.
And so my question or my thought really is it that tradition is being swallowed by Western culture? Or is it a situation where we're just asking more questions and starting to say, does this really hold? Or even starting to ask, why did we even start this? What is the essence behind it? And then in the failing to answer that question, you then say, if you can't answer it, then why should I, why am I holding myself to it?
Okay.
Okay.
I think the question we should be asking ourselves is that, are all traditions good? Okay, they were killing twins. Yeah, that was not good. Okay, so that needed to end. I saw a joke on IG or something. I can't even remember where I saw that from. Of somebody saying, "What's tradition in the real sense of it? Tradition is, what's the belief of an old auntie haunting the living.
Yeah.
So now the old auntie is long gone.
Yeah.
The person that started the tradition, the principle, the belief is long gone. But some way, whatever they are doing, whatever they've done is still impacting on the living.
Yeah.
So the question should always be, is it right? Should we still continue doing this thing? If it's okay, why not?
There are some cultural and traditional things that are relevant now.
Yes.
Cleaning of twins, definitely no.
Absolutely
But values in terms of morality, values in terms of respect, tradition, owning your name.
Yes.
Not everybody bearing Mary and James and John.
Yes.
There's the dignity and the beauty. I might have an English name, but there's the dignity and the beauty of owning your traditional name. And the reason why I'm using names is because I was made to feel bad about my traditional name. So I do not even, it doesn't show up in any of my documentation because people either do not pronounce it well, laugh at me about it, or mock me about it. And we find that we're in an era where everybody's trying to be sophisticated and we're in the Japa mode. So you have children, and because you want to take them to Canada, you call them James and John, and then you find children growing up and changing their last names, and you cannot track where you came from. So there is a line that we are crossing in terms of modernity and tradition. That's
but I believe both of them can actually coexist. Just as we said earlier, like they can both coexist.
You know where I pick an offense is when people try to make your own tradition or culture less to what they are embracing. Now that is an offense. I pick offense whenever I see stuff like that. Like for example, if you are a Yoruba man, for example, let's say you are dressed the way I dressed to a company on a Monday morning, they will tell you this is not acceptable. But you are in my land.
But that is the tradition of the workplace.
That's the tradition.
No, it's still cut across. I mean, see, if you go to the north, for example, I assure you, in the north, they wear Baba Riga to the office. Because it is their way of life. That is who they are.
Because they've come to accept it.
So why are we now treating our own culture? I mean, the Yorubas now, for example, like in a place like Osun State, for example, you will see all of them on shirt and tie.
Okay,
I understand.
I think the problem is that most times when people talk about the culture, they tend to highlight the negative aspect a lot, forgetting that people develop over time. The cultures that we have embraced today, say for instance now Christianity, there was a time in Europe when the Protestants and the Catholics were
at loggerheads.
Yeah.
They fought for like 30 years,
Mhm.
from 1618 to 1648.
Mhm.
Now, it was after that war that they were able to come into sanity and decide that, okay, we can't continue like this. We need to
People
live
have died.
peacefully. Do you understand? So, in highlighting the fact that, twins were being killed and stuff, yes, it happened. But there's also a possibility that if we had continued in that line, as human beings, there would have been a time when we would have sat down and said, you know what, this aspect of our culture doesn't make any sense. It has to go. So we cannot. Yes, yes.
Now because
No, no. What we are doing now is that we are disregarding
Our own
everything.
culture.
Yeah,
But
I
as
don't
an
We are
think that's
disregarding
true.
everything.
That's the
I
point
think
there
that's
is a
true.
And
disregard.
embracing-
Like, I just feel like
People are
It's like
disregarding.
what we have is not good enough. The white man culture, the
Which is
Western
wrong.
culture
Which is
better.
very wrong.
Better.
So
Which is
Yes,
wrong.
we will embrace the better culture
Which is
and
wrong.
discard ours.
Yes.
So this
Because we are
is-
losing
So,
our
so
identity.
modernity is swallowing up traditional
So
values
this is
and
why
beliefs.
okay, let
I
me
don't
let me
think
give
so,
another
to be
example.
honest.
Right. So let's say in the Igbo tribe, right?
Igbo man.
So I'm not an Igbo man.
It's not an Igbo man, no, my point.
So when an Igbo man dies,
Mhm.
there's this thing that happens where depending on the family, the brothers come, they take over, and
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
this. There's a traditional backing to say, it's not the wife's property, it's
Mm.
mine. And you now find a situation where the wife is at the mercy of the
brothers.
In-laws and
brother,
brothers.
regardless of the children and all that. Now, what people always say is why? Do you understand? Like, why do you feel like that? And it brought out, people said a lot of things. Oh, the wife is not a part of the family.
Mm.
The wife is, someone else. The brothers are the real family, and so they are the ones that have the right.
Mm.
And I don't know if that's the reason or that was the idea, but that's what it's come to now. That's what people use as a claim.
But I think,
But-
is it now or before?
It's still
Even
happening
it
now.
happens till
It still
now.
happens now.
In 2023?
Yes,
Yes, it does.
it still happens now. So the real question, and this is why I kind of argue when people say tradition is dying out. There was a recent trend where there was this Yoruba festival.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Somebody
they call it
filmed it.
Ojoba or something.
That was the first time I saw it. And I was like,
This is beautiful.
do you get? And
Yeah.
I've not seen anybody that said, "Oh, this is ancient. This is barbaric."
Mhm.
Do you understand? It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Durbar festival in the north.
Yeah.
We have Eyo festival. Of course, Gangs of Lagos. have
But the
the-
question is this. Hold on, Joseph.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Oju Deoba
Yeah.
festival, right? And you see all these women and the men
Yeah.
dress up in their
Well-dressed,
local
yeah.
attire. You love it. You
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
But are we not saying? Are we not looking at it in this? Or I want us to look at it in this way. Like, are we turning our culture into something that is once in a while? Like
Exactly,
wait, hold
exactly,
on. What I'm trying to
exactly.
say is this: what they are wearing it because there is a festival.
Yes.
It's not
Right?
something that they
It's
just
not
wear.
like a
It's not
costume.
something that you just
Colonized
wear.
us.
That's the thing. You have to
Let's
understand
answer that
it's not like
Who
we
colonized
decided
the
to
British?
do this. This is
So
how.
that is why you're dressing the way you're dressed.
I'm dressed the way look at me. Do I look like a British
No,
man?
if you say that it is because we were colonized by the British,
Yes.
that's why we have abandoned our culture.
I'm not saying
There are
you've
other-
abandoned.
Okay,
There are other
wait,
cultures
let me
that
let me
were
explain. Let me
colonized.
explain
Mhm.
my statement. There are countries that have been colonized by others
Mhm.
that have not abandoned. Now, there's something they call incorporating what you have learned
Yes.
and what you have.
Mhm.
Look at China, for instance.
Yes, I was going to say
Huh?
that.
China, they have interacted with the West. Maybe China is not the best example to use because they were not colonized by the British. Let us use India, for instance.
Mhm.
Let's use the Indians because we have similar history with the Indians. So they've incorporated whatever the British left and what they already have. But what we are doing here, especially in Nigeria, in Africa, most of the time, is that we are trying to be Africans living as Europeans or
Yeah.
Americans,
But
and
I
it's
agree
not
with you.
it's not making
I agree with
it's
you.
not making sense.
But at the same time, I have to ask: is this something? As a person, can I say I want to change something with regards? So, for instance, I want to wear native as a lawyer and appear in court. It's
like
not
there's
something.
there,
It's
there's
not
that
something.
set
against
principles.
the
But
culture.
yeah,
There are
yeah,
traditions
I
that are
understand.
laid down,
But
which is
like-
also
as
a
person,
tradition.
as a person, you
I
can
hope you know that.
in your house, for example, or as a person, you can decide to change your last name.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
start
yeah.
from the individual. If we want to talk about individual actions, right? Let's talk about things that you have power over. I've seen people, their surname is Akimboye, for example, and tomorrow
I even saw
they
something.
choose that their name is now Pedro.
I saw something
I've
on,
seen
on
a
Twitter.
Yoruba man
I saw
name
something on
the
Twitter.
daughter Chelsea. What is Chelsea?
I saw something on Twitter where
I've
someone
seen
tweeted that she cannot marry somebody that has
Yeah.
Ogedengbe or something.
Yes.
That she rather prefer
blame his
maybe a
sister.
Williams or
Yes.
something.
Can you
Those kind of
imagine?
things.
I don't
My
understand.
sister.
And Ogedengbe is a very, very strong and
Very strong.
powerful,
We are talking about
reputable
tradition.
name.
reputable name. So,
You can't blame his
Mrs.
sister.
Ogedengbe.
Ogedengbe
Please.
is if you know the history
Eh?
behind
I
that
don't
name.
think we want to know.
So
because-
Yeah.
now you're
Carry
getting
that
you're
name.
getting to the issue. The problem really is that
historical.
we don't understand certain things.
And
There's
it's
so
not
many
Yeah.
things that
documented, I
there's a
guess.
massive disconnect.
Mm.
So who is
Yes,
that for?
yes. I think
That
the
you-
educational,
I don't know who is that.
the educational
parents,
I don't
system.
know. Not my own parents.
The educational
Not my own
system.
parents.
The
Because
educational
my own
system.
parents made me understand where I'm from. Not just made me understand. See, I don't have an English.
I think it's the person that is at fault.
That-
It's your choice.
No.
No, I don't
It's
think
the
so.
person.
It's
Society
because some of us
shapes
get
us.
these
Society
traditions
shapes us.
and stuff
Yes.
from our families. The
shapes
unit,
us,
the
though.
family
Those-
unit
those
is the
of
first place
society.
that
Let
we
me-
hold these
Let me
traditions.
Yeah.
let me give you an
But you know-
Friends,
right?
peer
History
pressure.
is-
Yeah.
The problem with history is that in Nigeria, history is very subjective.
And it's not documented.
It's not documented. It's hearsay.
I,
If you listen
I
to-
disagree with that.
Not
It's
everything
not.
is
Listen,
I
if
Why
disagree
did you
with that.
disagree?
check,
If you
check
listen
the
to-
library now. If
I
you are-
disagree with
listen
that.
to-
Wait.
If you listen
I
to
think-
someone telling you the history of Nigeria,
Yeah.
based on the person's tribe, the
It's
story is
from the
different.
book that you read.
Are
Very
you sure?
true.
There are people
Yes.
that have done
That's true. Though.
good work on, not just
Have
from.
done-
I don't-
how many
the
people?
people-
How many
Documented.
people have done it? How many books are there?
I, for instance, there's this book on the Civil War,
Yeah.
What's the
Max Ceylon's book, Oil, Politics, and Violence in Nigeria. So he told that story from the perspective of a researcher, not as a
Of a third
participant.
party.
Do you understand? If you read Obasanjo's version,
Mhm.
he will eulogize
I've read
himself.
Obasanjo's
That's what I'm saying.
version.
That's
If
what
you
I'm saying.
read,
I read
you know, all those.
I read
I read-
what's the
Yeah,
name
if you
of
read
that?
their versions
a
are
particular
different.
version, and if I covered the author's name, I
Mm.
could tell even
Mm.
before I.
Yeah, you could.
It's like
Yeah,
first of all, it was a war. Both sides had faults,
Mhm.
right? Whether one was oppressing and
Yes.
one was oppressed,
Yes.
there was use of undue violence at some point. You can't say that because you were the oppressed, you have no fault.
Mm.
sure.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, some from Akwa Ibom, and it's like,
The way you mentioned
No,
it,
I
like,
say
He's
no.
proud of his
I want you-
heritage.
I want
He's
you-
proud of his heritage.
I'm from
Is it
the
because the
state.
man is not wearing his
it's
local
like
attire?
it was like Nigeria versus Biafra.
Mm.
Yes.
Even in the midst of the whole Biafra, you still hear stories of torture
Mhm.
in that,
Mm-hmm.
but it never gets brought up. Do you understand? And of course, the way it was handled, I wouldn't agree. But we need to have an objective way of saying this is what happened, this is why it happened, because that's where you can then say, okay, I
Exactly.
understand why we behaved, the way we
Well,
Exactly.
I think the best place to learn these things has
School.
to be the school.
which is why I was going
And
to say.
and
then we
schools
don't have-
now
They've
don't
taken-
have
and that's
history.
why
Let me
and that's
just
why
shout
and
And the
that's why
reason-
we don't know our history, and
and the
that's why
reason-
we take what is
To be
given
honest,
The reason
I don't
why-
think, I don't
the reason
think
why-
you can fault any, like, I don't think we should fault the school. If you don't know the history, you don't know the history because you don't want to know. You can as well go
Not
online.
necessarily.
You can as well go online and research.
Nigeria is
But
different.
which
Okay,
version
there
are
are
you
libraries.
reading?
For example,
Which version are
for
you
example,
reading?
What books do you
for
want to
there
example,
are
read?
if you look
libraries you
at
can go to and check, these things.
Okay,
So
are you interested?
I am interested in my
Have you
nation.
read-
you read-
Have you read
I have
all of
not
them?
read about it, but I'm saying that that's because I chose not to. Do you
Why?
understand? That's what I'm saying. Like,
Or it
at the end of the
never
whole day,
occurred
What
to you?
I use it.
And
If you
then
look at
even-
American
let me-
history,
let
you
me-
go to their
Amer-
schools,
does that
they
teach
teach
you
it.
extra?
They teach
They teach-
in
they
American
teach-
history,
I was
they
going
teach
to
their
make that
schools,
point.
They teach it in their schools, so everybody is
Everybody knows it,
indoctrinated
yes.
about their
Yes.
history, their culture, their values. America is the
Mm.
best thing since sliced bread.
Yes, so
To
we
all
can't
of them.
we
Yeah.
can't
America
take
can do no wrong.
we can't take
Mm.
the
But we
fact
don't
that
have
yes,
that over
Yeah,
here.
I think
we can't
I
take the
think
fact
Joy
that
is speaking my
schools
mind.
are very important. We
Yeah.
should have something like Nigerian history in secondary schools
Yes.
Primary
for crying out.
schools.
And the reason why, yes, and the reason why these guys took history out is because they don't want you and I to know the bad things that they've done in the past.
Yeah.
A Buhari, for instance, I'm sorry for mentioning. I'm sorry, I don't know if this is
We're
a
gonna cut
political.
that
So
part out.
okay, maybe I get like a former president of the country, for instance, led a coup in 1983.
Yeah.
but he probably doesn't want anybody to know that he led a coup. So how do you best take that away from people's knowledge? Remove something that gives them information about that
I
fact.
agree.
So,
but then I still feel like this information is out there. If you really want to know it, you
So,
will.
so
But-
that's
but
the thing.
schools-
Like,
but
why,
it's
why
important
do I,
for
Why do I have to go
why
and
do
look
I-
Why
for
do
it?
you? Okay.
Why isn't it
And that
part
is
of
why
my
you
learning
see,
culture?
you see, and that is why the media is taking advantage of
Yes,
this
that deficit.
these
Yeah.
things, because you just see someone on Twitter who just come up with
A trend.
lies,
Yeah.
lies about the country, about what had happened before, and a lot of people will follow the person, praising this person, and this person is feeding you lies, hatred. That is what the person is feeding you.
Hate speeches. Yeah.
It's hatred towards a particular tribe, describing a particular.
And there's nothing that you can read to contradict.
to contradict.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can tell you for a fact, I've traveled to more than 18 states in this country, and I can tell you for a fact, out of all the states I've ever been to in my life, the Northerners they've been very good to me. The first time I traveled to the north, our car broke down. A Northerner took us in. He gave us food. He took care of us. He made sure we were fine. Today, people look at the Northerners like they are.
Villains.
Why? These people are extremely nice. They are extremely
I
nice.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm a Yoruba man. I love the North. Like, I love it because I know they have good arts. But some people will just come and tell you, oh, the Northerners are this. Oh, the Northerners.
Well,
Keep quiet.
That is the generalization.
Yes.
I mean,
Fallacy of
something that,
Istiger. Yes.
something that happens across
Everywhere.
tribes.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
people look at me and say I'm a
But
person.
but as I said earlier, guys, I still feel like modernity and tradition exist because
Perfectly.
like I feel that they can coexist because I feel like modernity is just improving on what is already existing, which is the tradition. For instance, Yoruba culture, if you want to do the whole marriage thing in Yoruba culture,
Yes.
there's the I see a man. No, sorry, the man sees a
A
lady,
lady.
and then like
Then
I have
come to your
interest.
family.
That is still happening now. A man sees you, slide into your DM. Hey, what's up? Do you understand? But then it's just a modernized way of doing it. There's
sorry,
a line.
sorry
You
to
know,
cut into your
yeah.
line of thought. See, a proper Yoruba man, a proper Yoruba lady, and a proper Yoruba man, even if I slide into your DM, right? One of the signs that you will know that this person is a cultural person or is a serious person, let me put it that way, is by that person telling you, oh, I want to meet your parents. I think that is balancing.
Is that a culture
It's
thing?
not a
or just
culture thing,
human-
just a
that's just
human
being polite.
respectful thing.
Wait, let me tell you
Meet
something.
my
There are
parents
some.
on top
There are
of
some.
Yes.
What?
As
That's
in-
showing intention.
Wait, she said
as
that.
in on top what? When? Okay, please. Put
No,
a
like
time frame.
you guys.
No.
I'm not going to put a time frame because you people. I don't want
Okay,
to
you
talk about
mean you slide
relationships.
into my DM now and you want to meet
No,
my
no, no,
parents?
no.
No,
I
she
slide
just
into
said
your.
that
I
at some
get to
stage
know
now.
you. I
At
get
some
to know you
stage.
through
Yeah.
social media, right?
Yeah.
We've met. We like each other. We are vibing on a level, and then
Mm-hmm.
the next thing I'm telling you is, say, I want to meet your parents. Not that I've met you. I met you online. We've been going out. We are in a restaurant on the island. I kneel down, one stooping you down. There's phone everywhere. I give you ring before you now tell your parents about one guy. Are you okay?
It's not okay.
Do you understand? So you slide into someone's DM, and then as you guys are moving on a level
Yeah.
to demand to meet their parents, not demand. Before they come for me, you ask for
Why do you
request.
think I
You understand?
Politely.
You politely ask
Yeah.
that you would like to meet the parent. That is you showing that, look, although we met socially, there is still the consciousness of who I am and how we do things in this culture.
And that is what still brings me back to the fact that modernity improves what's the name? Tradition.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
I
really
agree.
what
Yes.
it
That's
really
it.
is.
That's when it's used the right way
Yes.
anyways,
Yeah,
but it improves on tradition.
if I can actually speak to that issue of names,
Mm-hmm.
there's an interesting thing in my family. We recycle Christian names. I'm named after my sister is named after my grandmother.
Okay.
I have the male version of my grandmother's name.
Okay.
My younger brother is named after my dad. My younger sister is named after my mom. My elder sister is named after my grandmother.
So you want to carry on
Wow.
that tradition?
Well,
It's a
I
family
would like
thing.
to. I would like to.
So now
but-
that's
no.
tradition.
I would
Yes,
like
and
to.
I love it.
I would like to, but
I might
at
not
the same
do
time,
it, but I love it.
It's something that people don't understand. So
Mm.
when people say, "Ah, why do you guys all have Christian names?" It's like my grandfather was a reverend.
Mm.
You get so ideally, I would like to name my child after my grandfather, but it also comes to that issue.
Babatunde.
Not yet.
But have we ever thought of this? What if the roles were reversed?
How?
What if it was Africa that went to Europe
Mm.
and colonized them,
Mm.
and then a country like England
Mm.
has Yoruba or Igbo as their official language?
Mm.
So
What's your question?
what would we call modernity?
Something that
That's
improves.
philosophy.
No. Wait,
Philosophy
there's
301.
an answer.
Something that
Anything
Okay.
that improves on the existing beliefs or principles is modernity.
But wait, when you
Speaking
wait,
about
sorry,
modernity,
sorry,
improvement,
this
really.
improvement
It's not
that
improvement
Yomi has been saying. Let me say
generally,
something.
I wouldn't say
Let me say
I won't say
something.
it's
No,
an
wait.
improvement.
Let me say
Don't
something.
come for
Let me
me.
say something. I want to say something here. When the Queen died, right? Some of us watch clips from our burial process, right? And there are some rituals that were carried out, and these are the same set of people that came down here to tell us that some of the ritual that we carried out when
Barbaric.
an Oba
Yeah.
or a king is ascending the throne, they are
And
wrong.
barbaric.
But they are the same people carrying out this ritual or their own rituals.
But then the question is, what is ritual?
Dictionary.
Okay.
What is ritual really?
Wahala.
Like
Ritual,
what is ritual?
rituals are just things that people do over time. People confuse, most times people confuse, when people hear rituals, they are, because they are already talking,
Calabash.
thinking about killing
Okay, let me read
somebody.
dictionary. Dictionary
Killing somebody
definition
or
of a
something.
ritual.
Hmm.
A religious or solemn ceremony consisting of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order.
Simple.
Mm.
So just something that people are always doing.
So I don't really
For a
think
particular-
that the British, like they said, stop doing this.
They did.
They
did
did.
actually.
They did.
They did.
They forced.
They did.
They forced
They
people to
their own-
accept.
yeah, they forced their
They
things
forced
down
people
our
to
throat.
accept Christianity.
And
See,
People
saying
were
that-
forced.
Yeah,
People
I
were
don't want us
denied.
to go
Yes,
It's like
yes,
what
people
you're
were.
what you're doing is bad. We are right.
Yes,
What we have
yes,
is better
yes.
than what
It's
you
better
have.
than what you have.
But
This
then
thing that you're
the
doing
thing,
is so wrong.
the thing is still that even though there's still some traditions to carry on, like some rituals to, carry on and all of that. And let me put this out there: every one of us, we all do rituals. Okay,
Yes.
we all do rituals. Anything you do consistently,
Yeah.
back to back, every now and
Becomes
then,
a ritual.
it is a ritual. If I'm studying my Bible every morning, it's a ritual. Okay, so that's being said, because they said, oh, this is the ritual, this is what we should be doing in the tradition, or this is our cultural, whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have to accept every tradition. But it doesn't mean I should, cancel it out. The way we just say cancel culture. You don't need to necessarily cancel culture.
Mhm.
But then I don't have to accept everything culture throws at me. It's just as the Bible said that, wisdom is profitable to direct. You choose what you think. Okay, don't let me say personally. Like, at the end of the day, it's all about preference. Like, this works,
and that's
this
where,
does
and that's
not
where
work.
we're going to, because everybody is creating their own value system and their own culture based on what is okay for me,
Mhm.
how I perceive it, how it
Mhm.
affects my mental health. No, I'm not dissing anybody, everything, but everybody is creating their own niches, their own values, their own traditions, and it's eroding the tradition that we hold there. I'm not saying that all tradition is good, but there are some things that make us Nigerian. There are things that make us
Exactly.
black. There are things that make us
Exactly.
African.
Yeah.
That we are slowly, like, take skincare for example.
Mm.
Nobody wants to be black beauty anymore.
I'm black and
There
beautiful.
was a time that black was beautiful. People could show off their skin, but now everybody wants to be white. That is modernity swallowing up the tradition and the values that you
I
were
think
brought
that's
up
the
with.
negative part.
Yes.
I think to everything there are pros and cons. Yeah?
Definitely,
So that's the negative part of modernity.
Again, I think this conversation has really been interesting, and thank
Yeah.
you so much, guys, for joining me in this conversation. And if this conversation has been useful to you, please share this video with your friends and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And kindly watch the next video. Thank you.